I would like to welcome you all today for an exciting class of entrepreneurship here at UNT Dallas, virtual style. Today we'll be recapping our discussion, closing our discussion on competition, and we will be, we're honored to have another guest lecturer here today, Jake with Rhithm, and he's going to present to us. But first, we're going to go over some things, some housekeeping things. So I'll go over the agenda. Housekeeping's first. We'll have a competition recap, have our speaker, and then we'll have Q&A and discussion. You know my expectations. Ask questions, think critically, build on existing ideas, be open to criticism, but most importantly, let's have fun. Housekeeping. The first thing, bear with me. This has been a really busy week in my consulting firm, and I haven't done enough on Canvas yet. I graded y'all's assignments, at least one of y'all's assignments. Some of y'all have done both from last week, but I'm a little behind on my work, so please bear with me there. What I plan on doing in the next 2 days is to create an extra credit folder or extra credit assignment space under the assignments sublink in Canvas so that you can submit up to possibly 10 extra credit assignments for extra credit points. So I'll be working on that after our class today so that you'll be able to submit those. I will also provide you all the rubric for your CRED assignment, which we'll be doing in a couple of weeks. So that's going to be placed in Canvas. It's already in the file section if you can look through it and look for a CRED assignment subfolder, but I'll make it apparent and illuminate that more. And we'll put that in the discussion post so that all of you all can see that, so that you know how to write your CRED assignment. Next thing, Canvas assignment discussions. What are y'all's thoughts? If you all can place in the chat box your comments or your feedback from providing interviews or conducting interviews with entrepreneurs. Let me know what you thought about that. Wow, talk to me, Marcella. Why was it hard?
I'm going to unmute. The reason why it's hard is because, one, I wanted to, I reached out to my friend with the business of Ponce Contractors, and she's the one that's been in business for over 10 years and has done very successful. The problem is that they're so busy, and really trying to set time aside with her, I've already had to reschedule twice. I've now missed the deadline. So I reached out to another friend of mine who she has been starting up her business for 10 years. She's been starting it little by little. It just started kicking off, which is kind of weird, right before COVID. And now that COVID's hit, it's kind of like, kind of slowed down a little bit. Mm-hmm. So it's not as successful. She's still in the entrepreneur stage of going, you know what I mean? But it hasn't taken off to like where it's a big boom. But that's the only person I have left. The other person that I would love to interview who's been in business for 30 years was my dad, who has his own construction company. But I can't do that because it's a family business. So
you can still do that. You can still ask them. That's fine.
I thought you guys said, or somewhere that I read, that it couldn't be a family member.
Well, I know, but it's COVID. If you have a family member that's an entrepreneur who's been in business for 30 years, they qualify.
Oh, he's been in a lot longer.
Okay.
The only reason, too, I was like, okay, I want to ask my dad questions, biological father, should I say. Anyways, I want to ask him questions, but you might find being a trucker in his business is not always the appropriate language either. So that's why I wanted to reach out to the other person who basically is starting up a truck. So she's doing the food truck is what she's doing.
Oh, good deal.
Yeah.
Good deal.
So that's where it's challenging. So I just reached out to her. I'm hoping to, for this assignment, because I know it's due on Friday, so that way I could get my research done on that. But again, for me, it's been challenging in those ways.
Mm-hmm. I bet. Thanks for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Autumn, you said it was amazing. Talk to me a little bit more about that, your experience.
Oh, I found it really great. I actually did mine with my sister. She has her own clothing line, and being able to actually talk to her in depth about it, and sometimes she's my older sister, we never really talked so much. Uh, so personally or in depth about her business, but actually being able to hear how she actually applied herself into her business was just so inspirational, because it just started off with one idea and it just took off completely. Even though she said it was really hard, and things like that. And she wishes that she could have did a few things differently, especially applying for getting loans, stuff like that. She basically did it all by herself, her money, everything, and digitally, because she's so artsy. It's just she's an avant-garde, however you say it, but she basically does everything by hand. It's all her. And wow. Yeah, and especially because I support completely POC businesses. It's just really great, and talking to somebody who's so passionate about what she was able to do, even if us didn't really personally know what she was really doing. I didn't, for a long time, we didn't even know that our sister had a business, but so for a long time we didn't know she had a business, but her brand is Trailing Nimbus. It's all about the clouds, thinking way out there. So it was really nice. I enjoyed it a lot. It really got me to become closer with my sister. So I really appreciated the assignment. Thank you.
Good. No problem. I appreciate listening, watching, and reading the interviews so far. They've been really good. Really good. Thank you all. I know this is challenging times. I know this is it could be difficult, but these interviews, the process is really needed to understand entrepreneurial journey. Sometimes you have to figure out how you can reach people that you traditionally don't interact with, and you find creative ways. And when you ask them directed questions, you see people tend to open up, and you learn something from it. And so I know that there was a question here that I know the assignment today, or that's due this week by Friday, is that you need to interview 5 business owners. Yes, you do still need to interview 5 business owners, but if you also want to interview nonprofit directors, you can do that as well. So you can do for-profit or nonprofit leaders for your assignment that's due on Friday. And again, please don't start too late, because assignments like this, when you have to have 5 interviews, and you've had these assignments available since the first day of school, it could get overwhelming if you try to do this on Friday morning. So try to pace yourself, try to think ahead, work ahead. A lot of you all are working ahead on your assignments. I've noticed in Canvas. I haven't graded them yet, but see that you've been submitting things in future weeks. So keep up that great work, because that's going to pay off not only in this class, but in all of your course load this semester. All right. Are there any other questions on the Canvas assignments? Yes, here's Carolyn. And I got your message earlier, by the way. Carolyn?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought someone else was talking.
No, yes.
So since I didn't do my first interview, will Zoom work? Could we interview them over Zoom and record it?
Definitely. Yeah, you can interview people through Zoom. You can create an audio file from your cell phone and then translate that and send it to through Canvas. You should have that availability. You can actually record your FaceTime with someone. I've seen students do that from their assignment this week or last week, and so you can do all of those types of things and submit it. They should allow you to submit files on that assignment.
Okay.
So we
Got
could still submit it if we have not done it, because
Yes.
I know for me the person was late.
Well, yes, you can still submit it. I will deduct 1 point after the assignment date, but a late credit is just a 1 point deduction. Now, Jake, the assignment's worth 3 points, so I just want to.
That's a big deduction.
That's very significant, but I don't want you to think that it's worth 100 points, and I just give late work.
1 point off.
He would be excellent if he did.
Well, I'm still excellent, and I don't. So, no, I'm joking around. But please continue to do the great work that y'all are doing on your assignments. All right. The last thing before we go to our recap, were there any other questions?
Yeah, Professor, I had one question.
Yes.
So I know this couple that's barely starting their own clothing line. If I interview them both, will that count as two, or is that still as one?
That counts as one because it's the same business. Now, if they have two separate businesses, let's say they're business partners here, but one of them have another business that they have either done before or that they do as well, and you want to interview them for that particular business, you can use that for two individual interviews.
Awesome. And I had one last question. Can I interview the same entrepreneur that I interviewed for the first interview?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Great question.
Thank you.
Most people don't ask that question.
Yeah, no, because I mean, right now I didn't actually know it had to be entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
So now, like, everything just hit like a reset button, and now I just am thinking of all the people that I know that I could, I guess, catch.
Exactly. No worries. Now, is your name pronounced Jesus or Jesus? I think it's Jesus, correct?
I really don't mind. I got through elementary being called Jesus Christ, so at this point I really don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Professor, I have a question.
Yes.
The extra credit points, do those go to our overall grade at the end?
Those will go to your overall grade. So to get a perfect score in this course, I believe it's a 413 or 413 points, I believe. And so I will give you all up to 10 points, 10 opportunities for extra credit points.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Maybe 15 because of the CRED credit.
Our grade is over like an overall point average.
Yes.
Out of 113 points.
Yes,
Okay.
and Canvas will be able to translate it as you are inputting it.
Okay, thank you.
So you'll know exactly what your grade is.
If you miss one 3-point assignment, it won't.
No, it won't kill you.
Okay, thank you.
Just to confirm, for this Friday's assignment, they don't have to be in business for 5 years. I mean, for 10 years, like the first
No,
assignment.
no.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, good deal. So now for my question of the day, I typically add, and please submit this in the chat feature. In fact, actually, I will put you all in breakout rooms for y'all to discuss. So I will give you all 2 minutes to think this over, and then I will break you all out into breakout groups so that y'all can discuss. All right. Question of the day is, what's an innovative business idea for the COVID holiday season? Now, thinking that we have shelter in place, adjusting with certain states are more open than others is definitely causing us to have consumer trends, different consumer trends. But during this holiday season, which technically people are now incorporating Halloween into this space, from Halloween to New Year's Day, what type of innovative holiday businesses you think would be built? I'll give you all another minute to think about it. And then I want to break you all up into groups. So bear with me for a second.
That's a good question. All right, guys, innovate a COVID idea, COVID-worthy business idea in the next 90 seconds, okay?
Yeah, no pressure. Well, you'll have 5 minutes afterwards. I'll let you all go into a group after that. So when you all are going into your breakout rooms, I'll give you all 5 minutes for you all to work together to create the best idea, and then each group will present.
That's cool.
All right? I'm breaking you all out into your rooms now. There you go. All right, are you ready? I'm opening the rooms now. All right, if you all can go to your breakout rooms. You all have 5 minutes to discuss. All right, people are coming back in. Hopefully. Without giving me your group's business, please state in the chat your experience. How was your group? How was your group session? Yeah, I think this is the last group here. All right. I think we have everyone. Good deal. So, breakout room 1. I believe that's Carolette, Jessica, Kathy, Marcelo, and Maricela. Will one of you all talk to me about your idea?
Hi, can you hear me, Mr. Professor Houston?
I sure can.
Awesome. So I was a part of group 1, and it was I think it was pretty easy. We all kind of came up with the idea that, around the holiday time, right? There's a lot less cheer, there's a lot less hope, there's a lot less energy, there's a lot less happiness, right? And how do we bring that all together in a safe way that really helps people keep their social distance, but still get that same joy and feeling? And we're going to go with the trend of, those individuals that are kind of doing the parades, decorating their yards, kind of doing those little drive-by baby showers.
Yeah.
And what our company is called is we're actually called Celebration on the Go. So, we're able to kind of provide different decorations. It's kind of like Party City on the go.
Wow.
We're able to provide decorations and kind of balloons and all kinds of decorations where you can just put it on your car, whether your child's graduating or you want carolers on a wagon going down your street, just to kind of create happiness, even for corporations who want to rent it out and maybe have, something for, a children's hospital where they can kind of look out the window, still hear and still be kind of a part of something bigger than just being stuck inside.
Wow, that's a great idea, especially with this season. When I witnessed and participated in drive-through graduations and drive-through birthday parties of all ages, from 1 to an 82-year-old drive-through birthday party I'm supposed to go to Friday. That would be great, especially during this social distancing season. Great job, breakout room 1. What about breakout room 2? Bianca, is it Janasha? I mispronounced that. Luis, Mariah, and Vanessa. Janasha, Miss Freeman. Miss Freeman on? Is it Janasha?
It's Janasha.
Janasha. Okay. My apologies.
You're fine.
Would anyone like to represent Group 2 on their business?
I suppose I will. I think we're stuck on what we were gonna do. We decided to do, so obviously with COVID, a big, I feel like we've touched on it every single time we've talked, but a big thing we've been doing is masks. And so we thought maybe we could prepare a mask kit with like blank masks and decorate them with holiday themed stuff. So add sequins or, so you would get a kit that has all the essentials that you need to kind of make it a Christmas mask.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yes, and then so we thought we will, beyond just masks, we could also do like a cookie kit where you make cookies and then maybe you can FaceTime family members and you can still be doing something together while staying apart.
Good deal. Good deal. That's awesome. I mean, other than me gaining 10 pounds this season, being able to have that, I think that's
just wait till group 4, Professor Houston.
Here we go. So I forgot about the restrictions on the holiday season. We should not deal with anything food. No, I'm just joking. Group 2, that was a great idea. I think that was. I appreciate you all sharing that. Group 3, thanks, Bianca. Group 3.
So for group 3, it was pretty much similar to group 2's. We decided to go with, like she said, basically holiday kits, of course, with, Halloween coming around, and usually during Halloween, people already wear masks. So why not make it, fun by, even though you're wearing a mask, at least it's something decorated. And also you get like a nice little cute pumpkin patch, add some candy. You get a nice discount codes for COVID, things like that. Maybe something that may help with larger families where you get premium or standard, depending on house sizes or how many you really want. And that's pretty much what we really got.
Sounds good. Thank you, Group 3, for also having the holiday kit, because it's very needed. And I didn't talk about this earlier, but especially express food delivery. We talk about the drive-through celebrations, but necessities like groceries, grocery transportation services, food, Uber Eats, things of that nature are really gaining popularity because of people sheltering in place. They'll need services to come to them. So thank you for providing that service. Last but absolutely not least, Group 4. Anyone but Jake can speak.
Yes.
He's a professional pitch person. So.
So Group 4. So we actually came up with a service and a product. So we're going to be delivering cookies. So our business name is COVID Cookies, and with each cookie, you do have like a inspirational, motivational quote and things like that with it. Now that's for the basic package, but for the premium package, so depending on the season, we will wear costumes so like Thanksgiving, we will wear like turkey costumes, Christmas, it can be a Santa Claus, Halloween. It can be like a hazmat suit. And so our slogan as well is COVID Cookies, a song with every cough.
Word. Okay.
And then Jake.
I see Jake. I see the excitement on Jake's face.
It was all Holly. Holly thought of that one.
COVID cookies. Yes. Marcelo, I agree with you.
Jake's our first investor.
Yeah, y'all just write that business plan. I'll put a little capital in. Let's go.
Well, y'all did a great job for 5 minutes worth of discussion and coming back here. Why do you all think I asked you this? What's the rationale for me asking this? You can either type it in the chat or you can unmute yourself and discuss.
Because it's what's happening right now. It's what's current, and so it's a need really, because especially people, they want to always, for Christmas and things like that, the holiday season, they want to buy and spend. This is like the biggest spending time of the year. Mm-hmm. And so people, I'm sure, are trying to figure out how they can make their holiday season unique and special, but still stay safe. So I think that's why you decided to do that.
Gotcha. That's one way, definitely. Entrepreneurs, we always think this. So as an entrepreneur, every month goes by where we can try to find some innovative way to use the existing resources we have. So let's just say I created a product that I produced a widget 1. And widget 1, some byproducts of that product, of that widget, or maybe some extra scrap metal, a little button, and a little string. Well, if I know there are some kids and I can mold it for it to be safe for a child, I would like to use those existing resources to make something new. But that's a continual change. Entrepreneurs always think of ways we can fit in the ecosystem in any season. Most people were very scared during this COVID season. Health-wise, I was worried and concerned. But as an entrepreneur, I was very determined of some unique opportunities that could potentially play, not just in things of people staying at home and needing a service, but more on a macro level, how this will affect the marketplace and how the marketplace will be affected from years to come, and how I can pivot my business to be relevant in the next 3 to 5 years. That's very important. If you're in the technology industry, you're hitting a sweet spot because it was initially slowly becoming, evolving from recreation to necessity. But now COVID has lit a fire and became a catalyst that everyone needs to adopt some type of technological advance so that they can remain relevant. And so entrepreneurs in that space, as Jake is in, are benefiting from that. And so I just wanted us to just to think through that before we close our discussion on competition, and we'll have the remaining of our class with Jake. So for a recap, and Jake, this will only be 5 minutes or so, 5-10 minutes or so. Competition. What is competition? Competition is the act or process of trying to get or win something that someone else is also trying to win. I didn't state that definition explicitly last week, but I wanted to give you all a definition, a succinct definition, so everyone can have a frame of reference. It is the act or process of trying to win something. If you're in sports and you're playing basketball or softball or even golf or tennis, and you're playing against someone else, your goal is to have either higher or lower points if it's in golf, or beat your competitors. The same is in the business space. It's not necessarily a physical altercation, but it is for you to compete with other business players in your field for market share. Market share is an economic term that describes the amount of influence or amount of the market you have on your specific product. An example of that is computers or technology, hardware. The big players of computer companies are Apple, Dell, Microsoft, those type of companies. And they all are playing in the same boat, same bucket. Now, it's a large bucket. It's the entire world. So you have about 7.5 billion people in this bucket. And these computer companies are literally fighting for percentages of marketplace based on who all have computers. So everything's a competition, whether it's small, whether you're in a gymnasium or you're in a global market. Direct competition, we stated this the last couple of classes. Direct competition, its definition is it's a situation in which two or more businesses offer products or services that are essentially the same. As such, the businesses are competing for the same potential market. What was the example that I've said the last 2 weeks?
Chick-fil-A and In-N-Out.
Yes, bingo. Those are direct competition. Chick-fil-A and In-N-Out. They're both drive-through, food service-oriented businesses. They all have a similar price range, and they are going after the same customer. Vehicular traffic and peak hours, strategic times of the day. Indirect competitors, indirect competition is the conflict between vendors whose products or services are not the same but could satisfy the same consumer need. What was that example? Someone else other than Autumn.
Chick-fil-A and Chili's?
Chick-fil-A and Chili's, right? They're indirect competitors. They're closely associated, but they have a different demo in terms of the price range of their food. Chick-fil-A is probably range from $6 to $15 per meal, whereas Chili's is $8, $9 to about $20. And Chick-fil-A is fast food. Chili's is casual dining, therefore having a different type of experience for the customer. Yes, Jay.
Did y'all know Chili's raises their menu prices 9% every 18 months?
Really? I didn't know that at all.
Isn't that wild?
Is that
Imagine
what
how cheap chicken fingers were like 10 years ago.
Yeah, those chicken crispers, no wonder they're $10 now.
Yeah, they used to be like $4.99 about 8-10 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm. Wow. And for fun fact, Chili's is a Dallas-based restaurant. I actually know the founder and creator of Chili's. I'm gonna invite him to speak.
That's nice.
Yeah. All right. You've seen this diagram before, right? And again, when you are in your groups, be sure to use this as a guide so that you can write your narrative, your competitive analysis, your one-page competitive analysis for your midterm using these resources. All right? Are there any questions? Okay. All right, now the moment we've all been waiting for. I am honored to introduce to you Mr. Jake Gannon with Rhithm. Jake, I don't want to, there's no need for me to give you, I was going to Google your bio, but what I want to introduce you as is an innovative thinker who is creating technology that is not only melding effective statistical analysis, but also well-being and mental health into one so that people can be optimally efficient at what they do, whether it's school, work, things of that nature. But overall, I want him to just to talk about his journey as an entrepreneur and talk a little bit about you taking some entrepreneurship classes at your university. Without further ado, Mr. Jake Gannon.
Awesome. Well, Professor Houston, thank you so much for having me. Y'all, I honestly love doing these type of events. I'm going to try to be time effective for us and not take any longer than about 20 minutes. So
now, Jake, real quick, can you all see Jake's screen or do you all still see my screen? I can't hear you.
Jake.
Okay, great. Just wanted to make sure.
You can see mine. Y'all can see mine, right? Okay, cool. I'm going to take about 20-25 minutes tops, and then I'm going to leave some time at the end to do a Q&A. But I'm going to introduce myself briefly. My name is Jake Gannon. I am the president and one of the two co-founders of a company called Rhithm. I'm going to get into what Rhithm is probably about 3 or 4 slides in. But I really wanted to talk to you guys about leadership in the 21st century, and especially in a remote world, what it takes to be a leader. Whether you are an employee, a student, or an executive, a mother, a father, a child, a lot of these really simple things I'm going to go over with you guys today are more applicable and easier to use than ever. So I sent you guys this deck in the chat. I also included a link to my company's training resources if you guys want to check that out afterwards. And I figured I'd share this in case any of this might be valuable to you guys. But before I keep going through this, let me go to the next page here and tell you what we're going to be reviewing today. So we're going to go over who I am, my story, what leadership is to me, what my business is, key takeaways I want for you guys, and then a little Q&A session at the end. And one quote that I love that I got from a guy named Tony Geary is up here at the top left. Life is a series of presentations. Here I am presenting to a bunch of entrepreneurial, business-minded men and women here in the 21st century in a remote class. So I want to tell you this, luck to me is preparation meeting opportunity. Always be prepared to pitch. Always be prepared to present. Even if you don't know what the heck you're talking about, be confident when you're saying it. Let me give you that piece of advice real quick. Okay, I'm going to go to the next slide here. Who am I? I'm 30 years old. I graduated from college 8 years ago. I live in Denton, Texas. I just moved back to Denton. I grew up here. I actually lived in East Dallas off of Fitzhugh and Live Oak for the past 8 years. And I am the luckiest man alive. I am, like I said, the president and co-founder of Rhithm, but I'm also the boyfriend to this woman right here. Her name's Emily. And I get to kind of co-parent her incredible daughter, whose name is Adeline. Now, whenever I'm not hanging with Adeline and Emily, I'm working with this guy right here. His name's Josh Knudsen. Josh is my partner and the CEO of our company, Rhithm. And I'm really just like you guys. I graduated from college 8 years ago. I was an entrepreneurship major, and I told Matt before, or Professor Houston, before I hopped on this, I was like, I think your students are probably going to be better than mine because I'm a typical entrepreneurship major. I think I had a 2.6 or a 2.7 GPA in college, and I really only went to like 7 or 8 hours a week's worth of classes. So I'm really impressed that you guys are all here first and foremost. I think that's one of the biggest takeaways you can get from this is get your money's worth, go to all of your classes, and build key relationships. Seems like you guys are all pretty relaxed with Professor Houston. I would encourage you guys to build a long-term, not just transactional relationship with him on trying to get a grade, but view him as a friend and a resource that can help you later on down the road. I have professors of mine from college who are chomping at the bit to invest in my business right now because I've been able to maintain a relationship for almost 10 years after I graduated college. So Mr. Houston is a real person. I can tell you that. Hang out with him and get to know him. Okay, I'm gonna hop on to what my story is now. I was born and raised in Denton, Texas. I went to Liberty Christian School here and ended up going to Auburn University out in Alabama for college. I was an entrepreneurship and family business major, and I came from a family of entrepreneurs. My dad was a second-generation business owner who bought his business from his father. They were anchor bolt manufacturers. They made the things that actually like cemented and held in cell towers and stuff in the ground. So I knew in my journey that I thought I was going to be the third generation owner of that business. I needed to go to college, learn how to run a business. Within 10 years, purchased that business from my father. 2 weeks before I graduated college, my dad said, I'm selling the business. You need to find a freaking job. Good luck. So that was 2 weeks before graduation. And I was also completely supporting myself at that time. So I had banked on going to work for my dad and had to really, suck it up and figure out what I was going to do with my life. So I immediately started interviewing, and I got an awesome opportunity with a company called Insight Global here in Dallas. And I worked for them for 3 years doing IT staffing and project management. But to be honest, I was pretty not content with that role. I enjoyed the opportunity. I learned so much from them, but I always knew that I wanted to be a business owner. So I ended up, after working in the corporate world for about 3 to 5 years total, I had a commercial real estate job after that. I ended up partnering with this guy who was a developer. And keep in mind, I knew nothing outside of just basic technology services. I don't know any coding or technical things. But I came across this guy that pursued me and said, hey, I think that if you partner with me, we can solve problems from a technology standpoint. So we started working with big companies like Boeing, Greyhound Bus, and a few financial services companies based out of the UK doing contract work. And I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with this, but it's great money, but every 6 to 9 months, you got to find another contract. And after about 3 years of that, I really wanted to get into product-based work. And that really kind of leads me to where I am now in my entrepreneurial journey. I've been co-founder and president of this company, Rhithm, for about 18 months now. And it's the first product that my partner, Josh, and I have launched. And we've been really blessed. We launched in January, and we have almost 500,000 users on our platform now. And the app itself is focused on K-12 education, and it's a mental health and wellness check-in tool. And I'm going to go into that a little bit further on throughout the deck, but I just wanted you guys to know where I'm at in my journey now. So I want to talk about what leadership is to me. I think that a lot of people feel like you have to be really charismatic or talk a lot and have a really big personality, and it's really not true. Leadership to me, in my experience, some of the most effective leaders I've known have been able to do the 3 things that I have listed down here. They provide clarity so that their team can focus and execute, regardless of what it is you're doing. If it's parenting, if it's teaching, if it's being a student, if it's running a business, if you don't have clarity, you can't focus. You can't execute if you can't focus. And execution is the most important part of life, hands down. Executing and completing tasks is really what all things come down to that are important. If you can't execute and get the job done, nobody knows that it ever happened. So these 3 terms, CFE, clarity, focus, and execution, these 3 words and this one simple concept, if you truly apply this to everything you do, you will be effective at it. If you sit down at your tasks and say, do I have clarity about what I'm supposed to do? Am I in a mindset to focus? And do I want to execute on this? You will do it. If you take that energy from a follower standpoint or somebody who's doing something that somebody has asked you to do and transfer it to a leadership basis, your team will worship you. If you give them clarity to be focused and execute, they will be successful and they will be eternally grateful to you for taking the time to provide that clarity and focus for them to execute. CFE, remember that, I'm gonna come back to it in a little bit. I also wanna mention this, my business has taken that clarity, focus, execution model, and our training and leadership model has a little bit different than just CFE. We've taken it a step further. So ours is show, assist, and lead, SAL. Show how to grow, assist and nurture, and lead by example with a servant's heart. If you don't show someone what to do and assist them throughout growing in that, it's kind of throwing people to the wolves. How are they supposed to know how to actually do something the right way? Leading is truly by doing something in action and being humble enough to not be upset when people don't do it right, because people are going to mess up. The last piece is to always show love. Now, that may sound weird. You're like, this is business. Like, you know, it's supposed to be intense. Like, you know, nobody's really love you. You love your family and stuff. You don't really show. But I'm telling you right now, it doesn't have to be a sappy kind of love. Love is shown through respect. If you show, assist, and lead with clarity, focus, and execution, you are showing love to your employees. You're showing love to your vendors. You're showing love to your customers, to your clients, to everybody who's involved without your business's supply chain. That love is going to be felt internally and at its core. So keep that in mind. Show, assist, and lead. Okay, I want to talk about what my business is now. What is Rhithm? Rhithm is efficient data and dynamic intervention in the moment. To kind of back up a little bit and give you guys a story, my business partner and I have been friends since we were 12 years old. We met when we were in 7th grade, and we reconnected at our 10-year high school reunion. I had owned that web development services company I told you about, and he was a counselor and therapist working with anywhere from kindergartners all the way to 12th graders. And he said to me, if you have a team of coders, I have an idea for an app that could simply and effectively do 3 things: increase and enhance teacher-student communications and connections, effectively teach and deploy social and emotional learning and well-being activities, and create data inputs in an industry that traditionally has no data regarding the well-being of their staff, students, and constituents. So that's what we did. We created an app that's a total of 5 pages with 3 features. The 3 main functions of the app are a simple daily assessment tool that can be accessed from any device. Staff, students, teachers, administrators, it doesn't matter, can take a 5-question assessment at any point throughout the day in 5 different categories: mental, energy, emotional, physical, and social. And all we're asking in these categories are, how are you doing right now in the moment? We give a handful of responses that they can pick via emoji, and then they have a text box that they can actually enter data in so that teachers, admins, counselors have more robust information on how their students and staff are doing. Based on those answers, we have a computer algorithm that launches an ideal 1 to 3 minute activity video to get the students and teachers more in a ready to learn or ready to teach zone right now, while teaching them a set of life skills. Now, all of our skills are based around self-awareness, self-management, relationship skills, social awareness, and responsible decision making. And then lastly, everybody has this data to act upon in the moment. Think about if you were a teacher and you had kids that were possibly suicidal, wanted to hurt or harm themselves, were depressed, anxious, hadn't eaten in 2 to 3 days. Kids are 9 times more likely to enter how they're feeling through digital platforms than to outright have a conversation with an adult. And we have seen, y'all, growing from 1,400 to almost 500,000 users in 8 months, that people love to share. Social media has conditioned all of us to be seen. Everybody wants to post and everybody wants to see them doing stuff so they can be cool and be recognized for that. But the reality is nobody's known through social media. Our app is a safe space and a safe outlet for kids and adults to be known. We also have another tool, it's called Rhithm Insights, that aggregates all this data. So districts, universities, state departments can look at all this data at a really high level, aggregate it, and make high-level decisions in regards to resource deployment, effective intervention, and making sure that all staff and students have what they need in the moment. Okay, I want to talk about key takeaways real quick from our leadership model at Rhithm. Clarity, focus, and execution, CFE. I really can't break down for you enough how simple and effective this is. I encourage you to practice it on your schoolwork that you have from Professor Houston. I encourage you to practice it from your family. I loved how Autumn said that she had talked to her sister about her business and that she had learned how one idea had turned into a business. I guarantee you, while you guys are having your entrepreneurial interviews by Friday, ask them about these 3 things. How did you clarify, focus, and execute on your idea? And maybe some of them will say, yeah, I've heard of that, or I like that methodology. Or some of them will say, hey, I've never thought of it, but I actually did that. That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I do on a day-to-day basis. If you can learn to incorporate and adopt this leadership and mentality model into your life, you will exude excellence in everything that you do. I promise you, it just happens. Another big key takeaway here, and I touched on this with Professor Houston, is relationships matter. Like, I'm telling you guys right now, all this CFE and stuff, it's great, it's effective, but if you don't like the people you're working with or leading, or they don't like you, or there's just not good vibes going on there, it's gonna be really hard to get clarity, focus, and execution. Treat people how you wanna be treated. I can't tell you how much that impacts people on a day-to-day basis, especially when you're in a leadership role. Lead with love. You don't have to be sappy, like I said, but it really just shows through and shines through. People will ask you, why are you different? What's going on with you? You could have just screamed at that person, but you were really kind to them and actually were able to teach them in that moment. People notice those things and they will follow you for it. And the last thing I want to mention is you're bound to fail. Everybody fails more than you can imagine. I'm in a really good mood right now. If I would have done this yesterday, you guys would not have enjoyed talking with me. I had a really hard day yesterday because I had a lot of failures in one day. But we pivoted so fast last night and this morning in my business that we were able to turn that mood around and honestly make bigger gains in a 24-hour period in our business than we have in the past month. So learn that. Fail fast. Don't be upset, or be upset and turn that energy into pivoting faster to put yourself back into a good mood. We're all humans. Sometimes we can't help being upset. Okay, I want to go to my last piece here on the Q&A. I know I kind of went through that pretty fast. I think I went through that in about 15 or 20 minutes. But do you guys have any questions for me? If you guys, if I spoke faster, that didn't make any sense, let me know if I can clarify anything any further for you guys. But what do y'all think about what I just went through with you guys there? Does that have value to you? Anything you want to know further about what I just said?
Also, if you have questions, please feel free to type them in the chat, and Jake, you can read them from the chat box as well.
Absolutely.
Great presentation.
Thank you. And I uploaded that for you guys.
You did. And I will also upload it on Canvas. But that's just the teaching tool. And I'll also upload that.
I want to show you guys this real quick too while we have just 1 second. I'm going to exit out of the presentation. And I actually want to show you guys the app real quick.
Perfect.
All right, so I'm on a student's dashboard right now, y'all. Students can come up here and say, get in Rhithm, get myself in Rhithm. And then you can say, what's it like in your head today? You say focused. There you go. How's my energy? It's pretty good. Let's say I'm anxious. I had a rough day yesterday. I'm pretty hungry. I haven't eaten dinner yet. And before I finish this out, let me reshare and add sound on my screen so you guys can hear this. And based on the last response I give, our algorithm is going to think for a second and then launch an ideal activity video.
Hello. Today we'll test and build your concentration skills with a simple but challenging task. This one may feel a bit strange, but brain scientists say it's a great way to build focus skills.
All right, here's the beauty of this thing. It doesn't just give you one video. It gives you a top 3 or 4 videos that are...
Hey friends, time for another interesting rhythm focus activity. Remember the Itsy Bitsy Spider song from when you were a little one? Well, turns out there was a reason your parents were teaching you that song, although they might not have even been aware of it. Turns out doing the Itsy Bitsy Spider motion with your hands is a secret way to grow new connections in your brain. So today we'll take it way back to get our brains bulked up and ready to learn. Start like normal, by sitting up straight, relaxing your shoulders, and taking a breath. Now bring your hands in front of you and make L's with your thumbs and pointy fingers. Now bring your fingers together to make a square like this. And then switch it like this. And switch, switch, switch. And keep going at your own pace for a bit. For an added challenge, see if you can speed it up. Or even try closing your eyes. Five more seconds. All right, nicely done. As always, take one final breath to close out the activity. Now, you might take a moment to notice what you notice after this activity. Can you feel your brain getting smarter? Feel free to try this anytime with your friends. And as always, have a great day.
So the idea here, guys, the reason we call it Rhithm is it's supposed to be a quick daily habit. You do this a few times a day, you check in, you let your teachers or your admins how you're feeling, and you're also learning some skills or life hacks in order to manage your emotions, your stress, your body more effectively. So the beauty is too of this, whenever a kiddo actually takes an assessment, teachers receive notifications on their end. They can see any risk alerts that were triggered, and they can really quickly and effectively see any notes and assessment data that was entered. This is the one I just did right here at 8 o'clock. You can see the answers that I gave on a color-coded manner and any notes that I entered here as well. So we've had a lot of kiddos, y'all, give us some pretty heavy stuff through this thing. And we've been able to save and serve a lot of kids and teachers the first 8 months this year. So yeah, that's the actual app. That's really, it's like 3 quick pages. Takes about 1.5 to 2 minutes to check in. So y'all, I didn't know anything about social and emotional learning when I started this or mental health awareness. I'm not a counselor or therapist. I literally just put a team together, hustled, found an angel who was interested in this, raised $200,000, built a prototype for $10,000 first to raise that $200,000, found our first customer district here in North Texas, and then started picking up the phone and calling people. So from January until now, this has all transpired. So if you guys really want something, if you really feel like you have the ability to hustle, if you really feel like you have the ability to change, you can change your life in less than a year. And not only can you change your life, you can change the lives of everybody that you never thought you would meet or impact. If you really position yourself on a heart of saving and service, the world, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, is going to give back to you. It will. Because if you're giving your heart to saving and serving others, everything else falls into place and becomes really easy.
Good deal. Good deal. Any questions, any comments, any discussion?
I have one.
Yes.
That's an amazing app. I think that, you know, for kids for sure, just to be able to have that outlet just to explain how they feel, or maybe they don't really know how they feel, but they can kind of work through it to figure it out. I think that's great. And then also, you know, in my leadership class, I'm in a leadership class as well. And so I was just speaking about, from our assignment, I was speaking about like basically about how a leader, whenever you speak to an audience, you have to adapt to what's going on. And so being able to see those notes sorry, Professor Houston, I can't see myself. I have to look at myself when I'm talking.
No worries.
Sorry. You can click something. But just to be able to see those notes as a teacher, so they can position themselves to adapt to how they need to communicate with that particular student and without, you know, making things worse. Mm-hmm. Then also just as an adult, you know, for myself, even like at my job, we've transitioned from in office to work from home. And so we have like a wellness committee or whatever. I think this would be a really great thing that's something that they would purchase just to send out to everybody, because it's like with our wellness thing, it's just, they just kind of give out tips and it's nothing like animated, and it's, yeah. So I think this would be really great. I think this is a really great app.
Thank you so much, Holly. I really appreciate that feedback. I'm putting my email address in here too. If you want to shoot me an email, I'm happy to talk to you about that.
Yeah, I will for sure. Would you rather email or LinkedIn?
Do email, honestly, because I'm on it all day, every day. And introductions are a little bit easier, but you can add me on my LinkedIn too if you want.
Okay.
So I have two questions for you.
Yeah.
One, are you ever looking into expanding into companies for like the leadership role on teaching leaders? Like if I had my core report group that reports up to me and I could see how they're doing every single day, then I would know how to approach them if there's, so forth. If they're in a bad mood today, then I know this as a leader. And then question number two is, I think it's great for the kids, but what do teachers actually do with that feedback? What has made a change in them on how they're able to take your data, which looks really awesome, but now what's the next step?
Yeah, so they're actually able to intervene and help in the moment. So most of the time, teachers and counselors are in reactionary roles. They're waiting for something to happen and then they have to react to it. Kids are actually sharing this information beforehand, and they usually do it in transition periods of class. So the teachers are able to have one-on-ones or discreetly get with a kid and say, hey, what's going on? I saw that you're having a rough day. Tell me what's up. Like, how can I help you and serve you more effectively today? It allows to increase and enhance communications and connections between teachers and that students, which in turn enhances the relationship and the bond that teachers and students have, especially during this remote time. So, we use it in class. I mean, like most of our, districts are about 50 to 60% back in person, but I mean, it's essentially a lifeline also for all remote students right now, because there's no way for teachers to effectively, get in touch with what's going on with their remote students as well. So it's an intervention tool is really what it is. And for your first question with businesses, yeah, for sure. So we launched 8 months ago. In technology terms and time, that's like 5 minutes ago, that's really quick. So absolutely, I honestly talked to Professor Houston, was like, I'd love to use it with y'all's class, and y'all would be maybe the first higher education class who would get the chance to use it. So I'm happy to do that and talk about other perspective areas. Thank you for offering that, Maricela.
What do y'all think of that? That's also one of the reasons why I wanted him to speak to you all, because I'm thinking about using this as a tool the first 5 minutes of class. And so if you like that, you either type us something in the app or give us a thumbs up. Thank you, Danielle. I see you have a thumbs up. All right. Thank you.
I think for this one, it would be great because as you become an entrepreneur, you become a leader, and being able to approach people differently based on their mood and so forth, then that goes a long way, because sometimes as a leader, going up to somebody not knowing behind the scenes how they're really feeling could come off wrong. So being able to utilize this, I think, definitely speaks volume.
Well, that sounds good. I want to resonate with something that Jake said earlier in terms of emotional temperament in the entrepreneurial space. When you said you wouldn't have been we wouldn't have received you as well yesterday compared to today. I experienced that also. Some of y'all have had in my class when we've had a face-to-face class, and there's some times when I got my what kicked out of me during the day. That affects even your professors in class as well. So I understand that whole pivot, and that's a real thing, especially when there is a contract. Let's say you applied, you made you requested, or you submitted an application, and it took you weeks to complete. It's $1 million contract, and the next day, it's either an utter disaster where no one wants to talk to me for a week, or it's great where you'll see me on social, all this stuff, just being happy. I'm giving money away. I'm being Mr. Philanthropist. Those are real emotions that entrepreneurs face day in and day out. And that's another thing that we need to discuss. Also, we'll discuss further in this class. It's mental health for an entrepreneur, because it's very dynamic and it's not static. And there needs to be some. Anyway, I digress.
Professor Houston, I mean, I can't agree with that. Honestly, the fact that you doubled down on that is huge. And I didn't want to like harp on that too much, but honestly, you're married, you get it. Like having a support system in place is huge, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's one person,
Yes.
one person that you can talk to and say, I had a crappy day. And I really need some advice. Even if they have no idea what they're talking. My girlfriend isn't in a business. She's a mom and like she doesn't know anything about my career. And just honestly, a lot of the times the most simple answers are right in front of our face, but it's hard to see it when you're a million miles into the battle. And having one person, especially someone that has no frame of reference for what's going on with the day-to-day, can really help center you and bring you back to normalcy. And it's so needed. Or every day. I mean, as Professor Houston, he's a business owner too. You can be in the mud every day, and unless somebody's there to help pull you out, attitude is everything, and it can spiral.
Yeah.
You got to have some accountability built in there, and be willing to take tough feedback from time to time, but also be willing to take really simple and easy feedback and apply it for what it is. That's why this whole presentation was so simple. It's because it's like, hey, clarity, focus, and execution. That's really all. Give somebody to clarify things for you. You can focus better and execute more effectively. You can apply those three things to anything you want in your life, from leadership to following to love to whatever matters to you. And you're going to be effective if you just boil it down to something simple if you can.
Even up and coming entrepreneurs as well, who like, how they say like your first, well, that's a property, but just trying to start your first business, and if you fail, this would be really great just to be able to have some type of like you were talking about, support system for that too.
I mean, my last business, the contract one I was in, it was good. We made good money, but like I wouldn't consider it successful. If it was successful, I would have never done what I'm doing now. And it took 2.5 years of not outright failure, but moderate weekly failure for me to realize I can't really pivot out of this unless I take on another great thing that Autumn said, loans and financing. And I just didn't feel comfortable with that model. You talk to your sister, Autumn, about that. And that's a big deal. That's something we've had to do. We're in the midst of raising $2.5 million right now. We're in due diligence with a capital group on doing that. And it's real, y'all. Like, I'll tell you what, like, it's real. Like, when you get to that point, it's like, you got people essentially looking in your dresser drawer, trying to learn about you. You know what I mean?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Everything.
Yes. But recognize that failing's okay if you just pivot fast. Mm-hmm. Don't spend 5 years failing and then be like, oh God, I'm a failure, because honestly, you probably are. If you've been failing for 5 years, like fail for a year or 18 months at something, take your key takeaways and your relationships that you've built from that time and pivot it to something that adds value to people. I mean, even, I'm telling you, the relationships y'all have in this class, if y'all can rely on each other and lean on each other and stay friends. I mean, one of you might call, Autumn might call Holly, 4 years from now and be like, hey, I haven't talked to you in so long. How you been? I thought of you about something, and you were friends with me for 3 years after school. And it's been a while since we've talked, but I want to cut you into this. I ran into my partner at a 10-year high school reunion. I hadn't seen him since we were 24. I'm 30 now. We started it when we were about to turn 29, and I just knew that I trusted him, because we had a good foundation. Build strong foundations with people if you have the time and energy to do it, for sure.
Good deal.
I don't want to challenge, but sorry, but
please do.
So I was wondering what would necessarily be your next step if you were to go to higher grades, higher educational demographics, things like that. What would you do to appeal to people like, us? And, what would you do to be able to differentiate, what it is to, actual kids, even though it's to everyone, and it's to a very simple, like it's simple, but it executes very well because it works. And that's what I really like about your app. And, anybody can use it. It's like, it's not hard, and you made it that way. And I like that. It's not hard but the whole aspect of it is, expressing your feelings is the hard part. You know, that's what,
how do I engage y'all as higher ed, 18 to 45-year-olds?
Yeah,
60-year-olds?
Yeah, because I look, because conservatively, being raised with a lot of old heads, expressing your feelings was just something that wasn't so natural. It was like it was just something that you were kind of looked at as a little sensitive. She gonna cry. You better not talk to her. Yeah, weak. Don't talk to her. She's something going on with her. Leave her alone. Like, leave her be. But how would you be able to at least alter that? Because I know that's an issue with a lot of people of color. In communities, families like that. Feelings is just something you suppress. You deal with it, you walk with it, you carry it on your back, kind of thing.
Autumn, thank you so much for asking that question. And I will tell you, I did the same thing that we did with K-12 education. If you guys decided you wanted to use this, I would love to come meet with you and get your feedback and say, give me ideas on how I can make this good. Because that's what we did. We went to the K-12 people first, district administrators and campus administrators, and just said, does this concept have value? They were like, we've been looking for something like this for 10 or 15 years. Okay, well, how do you want it to be? How should I design this that is engaging and relative to you and your kids, your market that we're going to be serving? And I would do the same thing with your class. If you guys used it, I'd come and sit down with you guys or do another Zoom after using it for a few weeks and say, what do you like? What do you don't like? How can I improve? What is your favorite feature? What's your least favorite feature? And to tell you the truth, our user retention rates from K to 12, 90% of our users use it 3 school days a week. 75% of our users use it every single school day. So I would want to hit those numbers with you guys too. I would hope that y'all would be encouraged enough by the application and its potential to say, hey, I want to help you grow it to where you can achieve those numbers and help that many people on a daily basis that are in our space in higher education here. So I'd get customer feedback, end user feedback. I'd build relationships with you guys to where you felt comfortable telling me, challenging me like you just did and saying, hey, this is good, but it's got to be better if I'm going to be using it all the time. If I'm going to be compelled to grow and learn from this, you're going to have to make some tweaks. Well, hell yeah, I want to know what those tweaks are. Please tell me. I'm dying for that feedback. That's an entrepreneur's dream right there, is to have that kind of direct line of communication with your customers. So I think some people might tell you, because I'll be the first one to say this. I've got kind of a big ego. I like being the man and stuff, but pride's is the root of all evil in business. I'll tell you that. If you're not willing to go to your customers, if you're willing to say, I already have the answers and I'm going to figure it out on my own, you're going to fail. I honestly couldn't have built any of this app it's been all based on educator feedback from the first day. We literally drew pictures with them and they were like, hey, we like this, we don't like this. And I would do the same thing with you guys too. Be like, how could this be something that was sticky to you guys? How would y'all want this to be engage with it on multiple times a day and receive value from it? That's what I would do, Autumn. I would get with you guys and ask a million questions and hope that y'all would be willing to retain that feedback to me, for sure.
Thank you for that. And I will go ahead and commit now. We will start using this for this class. So let's go ahead and touch base with that, Jake. Even if we need to dedicate the first 5 to 10 minutes of each class to complete this, we'll start, and then with this each day of class, and then at the end of maybe 4 weeks, maybe 1st of November, we'll invite you back so that we can do a study.
Thank you so much.
Good.
Thank the class. Thank y'all so much for having, honestly, this kind of interest and being willing to help. I'm really excited to get the chance to work with you guys. Ooh, Danielle just asked a question. How would you market your app to the business field and non-technology workplace? For instance, how would you persuade a non-technology workplace that this app is a great idea? Can you give me an example of a non-tech workplace? What do you think?
Maybe factory, maybe? That's what I'm thinking.
So like a non-enterprise or a you don't have a computer in front of you at your desk, right. You're not working on a computer all day.
Yes.
The great thing about the app is it's available on all platforms. It's available on any device. It's a web application. So if you have a cell phone, you have the ability to use it too. Your team can do check-ins remotely, or they can be requested. So, essentially a boss, a manager somebody that was a director would have the ability to push check-in requests to people on their phones. Or they could say, hey guys, I'm going to push one request to you in the morning or in the evenings, and throughout the rest of the day, if you're having a good day or bad day, if something happened on the job, if there's something happened with your family or with work that you want to communicate to me discreetly, you can comment it through Rhithm. I'll comment back and forth with you on there, and we'll have an internal documented discrete communication stream. So not only is it like, hey, they're able to communicate big things that are happening, but if they're just going through day-to-day checking in, they have the ability to build a set of social and emotional and human intelligence skills that honestly, those little videos embed in you. You know, the beauty of it being 60 to 180 seconds is they're quick bites, but practiced a few times a week become a habit. And just like working out, you wouldn't say you work out like once a week for 10 minutes and that you're like in really good shape. It's people that practice those principles consistently that have the best results. So that's the habit mindset and habit skill set mindset is what we're trying to imbue not only in kids but in adults as well. And y'all, in education, K-12, teachers are taking this too, like all the time. Like we have comparison points from teachers to students on here, and it's crazy that a lot of the teachers are doing worse, than the kiddos are right now. So, and there's a lot of pressure on the educators, and it's the same way with adults in a non-technology workspace or an enterprise workspace. Everybody's trying to provide for their family. Times are tough. There's a lot of uncertainty in our world right now, and inequality in our world right now. And people are looking for a chance to not only communicate that to someone discreetly, but to find a way to grow their own emotional skill set so that they can contribute more the next day.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
I had one comment.
Yes.
So with what Autumn was saying, she is right with what she was talking about. But I wrote down just a few things maybe that you can think about, Jake.
Yeah, please.
So first, I was thinking of just maybe you can do like a personality quiz, just so you can maybe understand the type of people that the person that's the adult that's taking the test. And then also with that, it can maybe have like, what are your interests? So the videos can kind of tailor to that as well. And then, so then you can just give videos that kind of relate to that. And then depending on the age range, so let's just say, someone in like their, 20, something like that, TikTok is a big thing now. Mm-hmm. And so maybe you can even look to see at the most trending type of video. So it's typically like people like singing or dancing or whatever it is, and kind of mimic some type of therapy in combination with that. And then also I made a note to maybe even make it anonymous as well. So I know you have a thing. I don't know if it is or not, if there's a button where you can click, but I know you said that the notes and stuff go to like teachers or it goes to someone else to review it. But maybe like, it can be maybe for like older people.
Adults.
Adults more of a anonymous thing to where it's just, them, it's just Rhythm and then myself, and that's it. It's just us two working it out, trying to figure it out. We're trying to get on rhythm together, you know?
Get in rhythm. Yes. Hey, I think that's great, Holly. We're working on the anonymous feature right now.
Oh, okay.
That's something that like all of our teachers like want, because, they're like, I want to be as some of them are. I mean, I'd say it's probably 40% of the teachers are like really bear it out there, because that's kind of how bad things are. But about 60% are like, I don't really want my boss to know. I'm willing to be this honest if my boss just doesn't know that it's me who's saying this. So I totally agree with you on that piece. And that's a feature we're actively developing right now. But the thing is, for kids in K-12, for you guys as adults, y'all are 18 or older, you have the ability to hit anonymous. For K-12, there's mandatory reporting that goes into place from a compliance standpoint, where like if a kid has an outcry that they're being abused or hurt or any type of negative thing, that's an educator's responsibility to make sure that they act upon that information. So
same with the college professor, for the record.
Really? Okay. So I didn't understand. I didn't know that. Okay. So it's mandated that if there's like an outcry or something happens like that, they've got to be able to act. So I'd have to get with you guys too, probably on feedback from a college professor standpoint with Professor Houston and say, tell me the best way to be compliant with this. We'd look up and we would, actually research all the compliance pieces that would go into higher ed on that and make sure it was compliant. but also just getting, you know, like, again, direct user feedback on, hey, what's the best way to do this that you see would be most effective. I want to touch on your other two things, Holly. The what are your interests and personality quiz before assessments. Totally agree with that. The algorithm that we have is intelligent to where it adapts to you over time. It knows your age and some of your demographic data that comes in from your learning management system. But we don't have any direct user like surveys or anything except for the check-ins that we offer. So nobody's actually talked about that before. That's not an idea we've had, but I really liked that a lot. Like a simple 5 or 10 question, like a lot of apps have. It's like, pick your favorite hobbies, pick your favorite, like, you know, TV shows, pick your, you know, whatever, to where you can build more of a persona around that end user to serve them more effectively from the beginning. I love that. I think it's great. And the content itself, I know you guys only saw one video, but we have about 120, 130 videos right now. We're going to have about 250 by the end of the semester. We're trying to copy the TikTok model, you know, to where it's like a minute to 2 minutes long. You've got young actors, late teens, early 20s, all like, you know, diverse backgrounds in play. And I create all the music for everything too. I make all the beats for everything. So we would have to like license from TikTok to actually be able to like partner in that way. And I mean, hey, if you guys know somebody that's in business development for TikTok, hook me up. Like, I'm happy to have a conversation with them. But I couldn't technically infringe on them in that way, because that's something I've already looked into. Is like, how can I latch on from a licensing standpoint to Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, Reels, all that, but without having a licensing agreement in place with one of those groups, I couldn't do that. So for now, we're creating our own original content. But if you guys have content ideas too, or things that you think would be helpful, or you'd like to see, or you think people would engage with, shoot them over to me. I'm happy to like talk with you guys more about it. And hey, we shoot everything here locally in North Texas too. So if you guys ever wanted to be in videos or anything, let me know.
I was mainly talking
Thank you.
about creating your own thing, but like how Instagram copy TikTok and how they have like Instagram Reels.
Yeah.
It'll be like Rhythm Reels or something like that. And then also one more, I'm gonna stop talking, but one more thing was maybe to follow up on the app, to follow back up with like, let's just say today I said I had a bad day because I forgot to do my homework, and then tomorrow I check in, and then the Rhythm's like, hey, how was are you still doing okay from yesterday? Or if I told you, you know, I'm happy because I just got promoted at my job, maybe the next day or the next week or something, it can be like, hey, how's your promotion going? Hey, congratulations again on your getting promoted for your job. But
so that's a great idea. So we actually partner with Amazon's Alexa AI right now to give note alerts based on the notes that are entered. So those are AI responses that you're talking about there. It's building a relationship with you as you go through. We don't have AI plugged in from a relational database point of view to where it updates and it's dynamic and it's like remembering to ask you after certain cue points. We do have it on alerts, but not on that yet. And that's somewhere that we're going though. Like you're spot on. You're totally, because it builds a relationship with you over time. And I know we're right at 90 minutes and I'm not gonna go any longer. Professor Houston, thank you so much for having me. Thank you all so much for your great questions and willingness to you know, pilot this thing with us at the collegiate level. I'm really excited for this with you guys. I think it'll be fun.
Good deal. One last question before you go. Kathy asked a really good question on the chat. Do you feel it was in your DNA to become a business owner because your father is a business owner?
Yes, Kathy, thank you so much for asking that. And yes, to be just completely transparent, yes. So I had kind of a non-traditional background in regards to that. Most people think that business owners' kids, like, you know, are spoiled and get to do whatever they want. My dad had me working in his warehouse when I was 12 years old. So I didn't get like, you get it, you were too, Matt?
Yeah, 13.
Okay, so you know, that was me too, 7th grade. I was going into 7th grade, somewhere between 6th and 7th grade. So I didn't get to do like the things that normal kids got to do, but my dad always told me, you know, I got to buy my own car when I had my driver's license when I was 16. I paid for my own insurance, my own cell phone. I had a girlfriend that I took on dates. Like, none of my friends had any of that because they were the spoiled ones, you know, in reality. And I think it was because I had a dad that taught me the value of a dollar, and that I had to work for everything, you know, that I was going to earn and have in this life. And that mindset of just hustle, hustle, hustle times your biggest commodity was something that was taught to me for sure. And honestly, it's been the biggest blessing in the world for me that I didn't have to work for my dad, because we have an incredible relationship now. I mean, it would have been strained because we're both really intense type A people. And I'm sure I would have come in and been like, I want to run this completely different than you're running it. And it would have maybe ruined or, hindered our relationship in some way. So yeah, my grandpa was a business owner. My dad was, I am, and if my kids have something that they're passionate about, they think can serve people with, I hope that they pursue that too. And I'm in a place to support them doing that for sure.
Good deal. Well, Jake, with that being said, thank you very much for presenting. Let's give a round of applause. I'll do the spirit fingers.
Thanks y'all so much. Thanks, Maricela. Appreciate it. It was great meeting you guys.
Thank you, bud. And what we'll do is we'll follow back up so that we can do the trial next couple of weeks.
Yeah, you call or text me. I always got time for you. Just hit me up.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it.
Good night. See you guys.
Peace. Thank you all. I thought that was a really, really interesting discussion. I know we're 2 for 2 in terms of different industries. I want to introduce you all to local entrepreneurs from various backgrounds. We have about 3 more speakers that have confirmed later this semester. We're really excited for that. We may not have a speaker every class, but I want to get as many entrepreneurs in front of you as possible. One, so that you can build your network. I really want you to build a relationship with them as they can build a relationship with you, because you will be directly helping Jake perfect his business, and hopefully it can impact not only us as a class, but society as a whole. So thank you very much for having an amazing class. I've already added the extra credit assignment submissions, so you would see on Canvas under the assignments tab at the very bottom, it's called extra credit assignments. You'll see assignments 1 through 10, where if you've done one event, or if you've done a program that's sponsored by UNT Dallas, you can submit that half-page paper there, and you can do that up to 10 times, 10 different events. You will have 15 extra credit points total option for this semester because of the 5 points if you have taken the CRED survey. Technically, you have 20 points because you have 5 points to do the closing survey as well. So just wanted to give you those options. I will be working tonight to complete the other things I need to complete on Canvas and provide you events on that's going to happen on campus at the Career Center. Last thing, next week, I won't see you all next semester, but next week, I will also give you all access, or I want you to follow the UNT Dallas School of Business social media page. I am going to manage that. And so I want us to talk a little bit about marketing, and I want to have a focus group session with this class in terms of how I can help market UNT Dallas School of Business. So it will be an interactive class next week. All right? Good deal. Well, thank you all very much. If y'all need me, please send me a Canvas message or email me. Please forgive me for my delayed response these last few days. I should be picking up in the next few days. My heavy day is Friday morning, and so I should be able to be available this weekend already. Thank you all, and have a great night.
I have a question for you.
Oh, yes.
Individual question, sorry.
Okay, so let's we can wait till everyone logs off, and then I'll take your question. No problem, Ryan.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.